Hey there, what's up everyone? It's Felix here once again from HeyDon'tShoot.com, and today I'm in historic downtown Old Mesilla, New Mexico, along one of the most scenic highways I've ever been on. It feels so great to be back in the States, and New Mexico State Highway 28 is one that you don't want to pass up. Come take your time, bring your cameras, and enjoy the beautiful scenery that southern New Mexico has to offer. Now, with that said, today we're going to talk adapters, specifically E Mount adapters for the Sony A7 and NEX system. And today we're going to use some vintage lenses with E Mount adapters. As far as I'm concerned, one of the coolest features about the Sony E Mount system, not that other systems don't have their own adapters, it just seems like there's a wider variety of lenses that you can mount onto the Sony E Mounts using these adapters. I've got a ton of manual lenses for my vintage cameras, and now I can adapt like 75% of them onto the Sony E Mount system. And these adapters, even though they're only manual focus, they're only about $20. Recently, they started coming out with some adapters that will turn these old manual focus lenses into autofocus lenses, but the full autofocus one is so expensive. Anyways, I brought out a whole bunch of different adapters for all my vintage lenses. We're going to try them out in Old Town Mesilla. Thanks for being with us.
Let's take a look at some of the adapters and lenses we'll be using today, starting with the Leica M adapter that I can use with my Summicron 35mm and Zeiss Planar 50mm. Both are amazing lenses. You can also use medium format lenses, like this Hasselblad 80mm f2.8 lens. And there's also an adapter for Mamiya 645 medium format lenses. Today I'll be shooting with this 45mm, also an f2.8 lens. And here's a Mamiya 50mm lens that's for a 35mm Mamiya ZE mount camera. I've also got an adapter for Olympus 35mm lenses. And lastly, I've got an adapter for the 35mm Rolleiflex QBM mount. Unfortunately, this adapter isn't working. I've got two lenses that'll fit it. The 28mm Rolleiflex lens will mount onto the adapter, but the aperture ring doesn't fully turn. And the 50mm lens won't mount onto the adapter at all, which is too bad because it's a Zeiss Planar lens that's just absolutely gorgeous. I ordered a replacement adapter from a different manufacturer, so I'll post an update for that when I get it. And now it's time to explore Mesilla and Las Cruces, New Mexico, and share some sample images with you using these vintage lenses and adapters. This first batch of photos are captured with the Leica Summicron 35mm f2 lens, and as you can see, the results are simply outstanding. Instead of spending $4 grand on a Leica Q camera, I can now use my Leica lenses on the Sony A7II, A7R II, and even my A6000 with this inexpensive adapter. For my first lens change, I switched to the Olympus OM to Sony E Mount adapter, and it too captured some really nice images. It's a fantastic feeling to give these vintage lenses new life and to capture them digitally. A lot of vintage lenses can be found for reasonable prices. This Olympus lens, for example, can be had for as little as $15.
We moved from Old Town Mesilla, which was a really beautiful spot. I highly recommend visiting it. And we moved out here a little further east in Las Cruces, New Mexico, at a public park. It's got a lot of trails through it, a lot of vegetation, some wildlife. I saw some rabbits and stuff. And we got the Oregon Mountains in the background. We're going to keep shooting with these vintage lens adapters. On the Sony A7II right now, I have the Olympus OM mount to Sony E Mount, and I've got a 50mm f1.8 lens. And then over here, I've got a Hasselblad lens adapter, and this is one of the best lenses there is. It's 80mm. Now, this is a medium format lens. It's going to be a smaller field of view, I should say, than if you had it on a medium format camera. So, because it's a bigger lens for a bigger format. But this 50mm lens is going to be, it's full frame 35mm, so you're just going to have the normal field of view.
big thank you to my girlfriend Vanessa for shooting video today. It was her very first time shooting video, and I really appreciate her efforts. We packed up and headed back down Highway 28 and found a great spot for one last photo. A sunset shot overlooking a farm field and pecan grove. It was a nice way to end a great day.
We've had a great time shooting with the vintage lenses and the adapters. They're really easy to find, they're really cheap. The glass is all super awesome. I just want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the sample photos, and hopefully this might help you decide to pick up an adapter for your vintage lenses. Thanks for watching another great edition of HeyDon'tShoot.com. Be sure to like this video, leave a comment. What do you think of these manual focus vintage lens adapters? And be sure to subscribe to our channel.